This is the Fifth Estate's Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we analyze some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning. We also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 11th of August 2021, and I am AX.
I am Miss Pope.
And I am GK. In case you missed the headlines, here they are. The Daily Nation. Ruto allies face axe in cabinet changes.
Poor them.
The Standard. Inside Uhuru's bid to unite Raila and OKA. The Star. 2022 is yours to lose, Uhuru tells opposition chiefs. And finally, People Daily. Uhuru fails to broker NASA unity accord. Very interesting headlines there. Miss Pope, what would you like to talk about?
My thoughts today are inspired by the Star headline, which reads, Presidency is yours to lose, Uhuru tells opposition chiefs. This comes after President Uhuru met the former NASA chiefs in Mombasa yesterday. Those in attendance were Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula and others. And the president's message to the bearded sisters, as we like to call them here at Fort Hall School of Government, was either unite in a new alliance or forget the presidency.
And it's true.
So today I would like to remind the bearded sisters that a coalition with Raila is their only hope to secure the presidency. But before I do so, I would like to consider their perspective. Why might the bearded sisters be reluctant to partner with Raila? And are these reasons justifiable? Kalonzo said the other day that he would be stupid to support Raila a third time.
I cannot see, and I made it clear, I would be the most stupid fellow on the earth to go and support the third time a presidential candidate, all right? Without a measure of reciprocity. I think it goes beyond the doctrine of good faith, justice, fairness. Yeah.
Musalia Mudavadi told us a while back that demons sometimes whisper to him. While Moses Wetangula, we don't know what his excuse is.
Yeah.
In short, these men are petrified. But should they be petrified? The answer is yes. They should fear because they are not as strong as they think they are if they vie separately.
Not at all.
The truth of the matter is they need Raila as much as Raila needs them. Haven't they learnt anything from history? Professor Mutahi Ngunyi always told us that the problem with history is that we do not learn from it. If history were to speak to us, it would remind the bearded sisters of how a fragmented opposition handed Mzee Moi an easy win in 1992 after they had fought so hard for the repeal of Section 2A. Once beaten, but not twice shy, they repeated this costly mistake in 1997. It was only in 2002 that a rainbow appeared after the political reigns of the 1990s.
Yes, excellently put.
And now, just like in 2002, we have a succession election looming in the horizon. This scenario always presents the most formidable challenge for modern sub-Saharan African states. If the bearded sisters are not prudent enough to pay heed to this history that they were a part of, then history will repeat itself before their very eyes. In fact, the bearded sisters may recall that the constitutional changes which they clamored for resulted in the 50% plus one provision. Unlike in 1992 and in 1997, this means that elite consensus is the new normal. If they do not stand together, they will hang separately. Dear bearded sisters, you did well to stand together for a decade under the CORD coalition and under the NASA umbrella. This time, you even have the goodwill and the endorsement of the head of state. The only thing that will cost you collective victory is clinging to inconsequential fears and bygones. You must surrender them to the past. Instead, you must now reimagine your future. A future where you will sit together at the table as you watch William Ruto form the new opposition ranks. We say this because we know that a Ruto presidency will not be as graceful or forgiving as His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. Ama namna gani, my friends?
My friends, eh? You said it. You hit the nail right there on the head. They only have one option. And
They
it
do.
is Raila Odinga. That is it.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely brilliant analysis for your first time on the bench, Ms.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
right. So I would like to pick up where you left off. After all, it does take two to tango, and there are two parties to this coalition equation. I would like to address Mr. Raila Odinga. Today, just like you, Ms. Pope, much of the coverage has centered on the meeting between President Uhuru Kenyatta, the NASA leaders, and Oparanya in Mombasa yesterday. According to the Standard, the 7 men met to discuss national cohesion ahead of the 2022 election, meeting for the first time after NASA's official death. The meeting also functioned as a détente of sorts between Raila and the NASA heads, and a first step towards Raila's participation in the One Kenya Alliance or any other future coalition. However, once again in their coverage, the Fourth Estate failed to ask a very simple question. Should Raila join OKA or any other coalition for that matter? Therefore, today, allow me to answer this very question. How Raila will make this decision will be guided by opportunity cost. According to Malcolm Turnbull, opportunity cost is the idea that once you spend your money on something, you can't spend it again on something else. Therefore, opportunity cost is the value of the path not taken. So should Raila join OKA, what is the opportunity cost of such a decision? The presidency. 2 out of 3 OKA leaders have been very clear that they would only agree to unite with Raila if he is not the flag bearer.
Impossible.
Given that 2022 could be Baba Man's last shot at the presidency, if he allies with OKA, he may have to concede his candidacy, and publicly at that, or risk turning an ally into a bitter enemy, at least in the short run. Conversely, should Raila not join OKA or any other coalition for that matter, what is the opportunity cost of that decision? Unnecessary competition. Now, Ms. Pope has taken us through the history, but allow me to reiterate. In 1992, the inability of Matiba and Kibaki to see eye to eye saw them compete against each other and Moi, resulting in a split vote and the extension of Moi's tenure for another decade. In 2007, Kalonzo drew support away from Raila's base, costing him the election. And in 2013, despite an alliance between Kalonzo and Raila, Mudavadi running alone drew support away from Raila's base once more. What is the lesson here? Without a coalition in 2022, Raila will be competing against OKA and Ruto rather than just Ruto. Thus, by forgoing the coalition, Raila not only clutters the playing field, but risks the presidency as well. Therefore, between the presidency and unnecessary competition and the presidency, which opportunity cost can be borne? Which path ought to be taken? I advise Raila to enter a coalition. While the opportunity costs associated with entering a coalition, that is the presidency, are certainly high and immediate, they pale in comparison to the opportunity cost of not engaging with a coalition.
Absolutely.
This is because despite the categorical rejection of Raila as a flag bearer, minds can be changed, perspectives can be altered, and positions can be shifted. While the loss of a presidential election will take years to remedy, perhaps decades, if the man from Sugoi gets his way. And unfortunately for the 76-year-old Raila, time is not on his side.
Wow.
True.
Wow, X.
Thank you.
You know what? I decided I'm going to take a different path.
Of course
today.
you did.
I decided that I would like to address the headline of the Daily Nation that talks about an alleged incoming cabinet reshuffle. And in my opinion, if it is true, I am all for it.
Ooh, tell us
in
more.
fact, I would like to suggest that President Kenyatta should engage in a cabinet reshuffle in the final year of his presidency. Now, why do I say this? Because we are approaching the anchor leg of the president's time in office. Some people suggest that a president's final year should be less significant than the ones preceding it. But I would like to differ with that premise. In fact, I would like to suggest that it is the most important leg of his presidency. This is because in the final year of a leader can act without fear of consequence. They can act with more abandon, without consideration of political consequence. Nothing to lose, but everything to gain.
Yes.
And so today, I would like to talk about the significance of a reshuffle 1 year from an election. And more importantly, the vitality of the president's final year in terms of legacy. Former American President Barack Obama was extremely determined to take advantage of his final year. So much so that he once reportedly distributed handwritten notes to his cabinet, which simply read, "Really important things happen in the fourth quarter." In American sports, the fourth quarter is where everything happens. It is where epic comebacks are made. It is where games are won. President Kenyatta is in the fourth quarter, and his team needs to follow his lead. This is where the cabinet secretaries come in. Cabinet secretaries are the executors of the president's vision. They are the guardians of the president's legacy. And right now, President Kenyatta's sole focus is legacy. And the next 1 year will be critical in laying that foundation for our republic. If the custodians of his vision are more focused in securing their own future positions, then they must go. It is that simple. He should heed the words of Moi, who said, "Nobody should consider himself as indispensable."
Amen.
There is no time to deal with wolves in sheep clothing. For the final year to be effective, sometimes it needs a spark. It needs fresh faces. And so I will end with a quote by Ronald Reagan. He says, "The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things."
Yes.
So we have a 3-part criteria that we use to judge the headlines for you. We ask ourselves, is the headline topical or speculative? Is it repetitive or groundbreaking? And finally, is it thoughtful or just plain lazy? For your reminding, I will tell you the headlines again. The Daily Nation, Ruto allies face axe in cabinet changes. The Standard, inside Uhuru's bid to unite Raila, OKA. The Star, 2022 is yours to lose. Uhuru tells the opposition chiefs. And finally, People Daily, Uhuru fails to broker NASA unity accord. So what do you guys think?
People Daily, you should toss that. Uhuru fails to broker NASA unity. I mean,
They didn't get the point.
no,
huh?
no, no,
Missed
they
the
did
mark.
not.
Okay, if you say you're taking out the People Daily, let me actually remove the Daily Nation. Because although the headline it grabbed my attention. When I read that story, whoa, I had to, no. So not the Daily Nation, in my opinion.
Okay.
So it's between the Standard, inside Uhuru's bid to unite Raila, OKA, and the Star, 2022 is yours to lose, Uhuru tells opposition chiefs.
Definitely definitely the Star. I mean, the headline itself is incredibly grabbing. It shows our commander-in-chief taking charge and letting people know what he wants them to do. And honestly, it made me want to buy the paper as well. So, yeah.
So there you have it, a winning headline from the Star. Now, onto the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country, where we also have a 3-part criteria to break down them for you. We ask ourselves, is it humorous or dry? Is it satirical or pessimistic? And finally, is it effective or just plain lazy? So AX, why don't you take us through the first cartoon?
All right, the cartoon that we have for you today is from The Standard. It depicts Uhuru Kenyatta rolling an ODM bowling ball down the lanes towards the pins. The pins are caricatures of William Ruto, Sudi, Duale, Murkomen, and other Tanga people. In the bay waiting to be rolled is the 2022 bowling ball, and I predict it'll be a knockout strike. The context of this cartoon, of course, is the meeting between the NASA heads and the ODM heads and President Kenyatta in Mombasa yesterday.
You know, from Kaso, this is actually a fantastic cartoon.
Great
It
cartoon.
is.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I feel he's very good at drawing people's faces. The faces of those pins on the heads on the pins look frightened for that bowling ball, and looks like ODM is gonna strike them out. So yeah, I like the Standard. Okay, I'll take you through the Star. Okay, it is a matatu. And the matatu has some police who stopped it and clamped it. And they've raised it, and the police officers are milking the matatu. One is saying, Finya, sorry, let me read that, sorry, Finya kabisa. And the other one saying, hey, 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 the more the merrier. And you just have eyes poking out of the bus. And then it's written full squad, 0 social distancing. That's the bus's name. So basically the bus it's depicting how Kenyans seem to be flouting COVID rules and going out anyway, and police are just enjoying
milking the cow, as it were.
Milking the cow, as it were. Yeah, it's a good it's very descriptive, but I don't think it works with the Standard, in my opinion.
I mean, the Star. I mean, it's a wonderful cartoon. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't have the finesse of the Standard. Yeah, that's my primary issue.
Okay, Ms. Pope, why don't you take us through the Daily Nation?
So the Daily Nation, we have the cartoon which depicts Harun Aidian, the fruit exporter, the tuck guy.
Getting the boot.
Yes, getting the boot. He's being kicked out of Kenya. And on the left is William Ruto, Sudi, Murkomen, I think Itumbi. And William Ruto is calling out to Harun and says, sorry by government outside of government.
What I find so hilarious from this cartoon is the phone is inside the government offices, but he's taken the phone, it's outside. So it's literally by government, outside of government. You know what? This is an excellent cartoon. It's an excellent cartoon, in my opinion. Fantastic.
All right, then.
Finally, the People Daily. Okay, so it's got a very girthy individual, for a politician called Corrupt Politician, standing on a ballot box, holding a sack of money written stolen public funds. And the preacher is sort of asking the congregation, should we accept him with his money or ask him to return it? Yeah, it's very obvious. I can say it's very obvious. I don't think it had much color to it, so not for me.
Same, not for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's between the Daily Nation and the Standard.
Standard.
What do you guys think wins this one?
Oh, I'm going to go for the Standard.
The Standard.
The
definitely.
Standard?
Yes.
Okay, so we give it to the Standard. Thank you so much for watching Winning Headlines. I will leave you with this quote. This is by Winston Churchill. He says, when there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. Yes. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that like button. We're also on your TV screens. We are on Pang Free to Air, GoTV, and Star Times. Thank you.
Good night.